Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into a love story today, but not just any love story. This one sparked a political revolution.
Oh yeah, a powerful couple reshaped a whole nation.
Juan and Eva Perón, 20th century Argentina. Their stories got it all. Ambition, romance, you name it.
And you've found us some amazing material to work with. These podcast excerpts, they really paint a picture.
Right. It's wild to think. Eva Perón, this iconic figure, she started out in radio soap operas. What a journey.
From small-town girl to the heart of Buenos Aires, she had drive, that's for sure.
And even before Perón, she was playing these powerful women on the radio, queens, historical figures, almost like foreshadowing.
Like she was rehearsing for a bigger role. Interesting point. Those strong characters, Elizabeth I, Catherine the Great, maybe it all ties together.
But we can't forget Juan Perón himself. Complex character, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Charm, political instinct, admired Mussolini, but drew the line at violence, no Nazis for him. A real mix of influences there.
Military man through and through. The podcast mentions he loved military history, even taught it. But a personal aversion to violence, huh?
Yeah, that's the key to him. Full of contradictions. One minute he's relatable, winning over the working class. The next, he's commanding respect from the elite.
Master of navigating those different worlds. Okay, so the podcast takes us to this gala, Luna Park Stadium in Buenos Aires. Earthquake relief event. Picture all these famous actors collecting donations, the glamour.
It's like a movie scene. And Perón, amidst all that, there's this detail. He had psoriasis, used makeup to cover it up. Some say that's why he always photographed so well, gave his skin a certain shine.
Wow, hiding a vulnerability behind that charismatic facade makes you see him differently.
Humanizes him, right. And then Eva walks in, bold as can be, manages to push out Perón's 17-year-old girlfriend. They called her the Piranha, by the way. What an entrance.
Audacious, for sure.
Yeah.
But how did their relationship play into Perón's political ambitions? He was already rising through the ranks.
Perón was smart. He saw the untapped power of the working class. The descamisados, he called them, literally, the shirtless ones. The laborers, the ones the elite ignored.
And that's where Eva comes in. She becomes the voice of his message. Starring in this radio drama, The Woman, promoting Peronism, fighting for workers' rights.
It's striking. Eva knew poverty firsthand. Perón's message, it wasn't just politics for her, it was personal. Her own struggles, they fueled her belief in his vision.
But their rise, it wasn't smooth sailing. By 1945, Perón's facing opposition within the military and from the U.S. ambassador, Sproul Braden. This guy saw Perón's as a potential Nazi sympathizer. Things were getting heated.
Oh yeah, Braden, vehemently opposed to Perón's ideology, campaigned against him, saw him as a threat to U.S. interests, wanted a more, shall we say, liberal pro-U.S. government in Argentina.
Clash of personalities, ideologies playing out on a global stage. And then Perón gives a government position to a friend of Eva's. People saw it as her influence growing.
Favoritism, pure and simple, that's how it looked. Fueled the fears of those who saw Eva as dangerous. On top of Braden's campaign, it all led to unease in the military. Perón becoming too powerful, and Eva, well, her presence didn't help.
So all this tension, Perón's forced to resign, October 9th, 1945. But he doesn't go quietly. This dramatic speech almost hints at a comeback.
Classic Perón, playing the victim, appealing to the masses. Alliance of foreign reactionaries and plutocrats trying to bring him down, cementing that image, the people's champion against the powerful.
Shakespearean, the way he framed it. And then that line from the speech, I will say until the end of time, until forever, because from this day onwards I will be with you closer than ever.
Pure political theater, but effective. He knew how to work a crowd, build loyalty.
So Perón's out, at least for now. Is this where Eva steps in, rallies the masses to demand his return? That's the image we have, isn't it?
That's the story, yeah. Peronist propaganda, even anti-Perón folks pushed it, painted her as the mastermind, this powerful figure orchestrating his comeback.
Dramatic stuff.
Yeah.
But how accurate is it? Did Eva really play that central role?
That's where it gets interesting. The history, it tells a slightly different story. Eva supported Perón, no doubt. But evidence for her being the key player in his return, not so much.
So what actually happened? How did he go from ousted to back in power?
Well, October 17th, 1945, just a week after Perón's resignation, a huge rally in Buenos Aires, organized by labor unions, workers, tons of them from the outskirts of the city, flood the city center, demanding Perón back. It was spontaneous, a genuine outpouring of support.
Wow, not some calculated political game, a real grassroots movement.
Exactly. And the city's elite, they were shaken. All these working class folks, many had never been downtown before. It was powerful, Perón's popularity, the depth of support, you couldn't ignore it.
I bet Spruill Braden wasn't thrilled about that.
Not the liberal Argentina he had in mind.
So, massive crowds demanding Perón's return. Does he just waltz back into power at that point?
Not quite. He's actually being held prisoner on an island in the River Plate Delta. It took negotiations, some backroom deals before he's released, allowed to address the crowds.
The stage is set. The people want him back. He can finally speak. Must have been quite a scene.
Oh, it was. Picture it. Hundreds of thousands chanting, Perón, Perón. He gives this emotional speech from the balcony of the Casa Rosada, the presidential palace, playing on their emotions, solidifying his image, the man of the people.
Like something out of a history book. But amidst all this, Perón finds time to marry Eva, right?
He does. 5 days after that rally, they're married. Quick civil ceremony in their apartment.
Whirlwind romance indeed. I guess when you're in the middle of a political earthquake, a quick ceremony makes sense.
But here's the thing. Almost everything on their marriage certificate was falsified. They claim they married in Junín, Eva's hometown, but they didn't. Her birth date's changed to make her younger. She even uses a different last name, hiding her illegitimacy.
Wow, rewriting history, even on their wedding day. Makes you think, was Eva already trying to control the narrative?
It does, meticulously crafting her image, erasing parts of her past that didn't fit. And it wasn't just the certificate. She went to great lengths to erase her acting career. Photos destroyed, even a film she starred in.
Shedding her old identity, becoming Eva Perón.
A fascinating transformation. And it raises a question. Was her devotion to Perón's message real or a calculated power play? Something to think about as we go deeper.
And deeper we will go. But for now, we've reached a good stopping point. Join us in part 2, where we'll explore Perón's return to power and the rise of Evita, the woman who became a legend, in Argentina and beyond.
Back again, ready for more of Juan and Eva Perón.
Absolutely. Last time, whirlwind romance, dramatic resignation, and that massive rally. It's 1945, they're newlyweds, Argentina's about to change forever.
Things get really interesting now. Their marriage, it symbolizes something bigger, you know? Perón's ambitions and Eva, she had this incredible ability to connect with everyday Argentinians. Perón knew, to make real change, he needed those working class folks, the descansados, on his side.
And she understood how to connect with them, that's for sure. The podcast mentioned something fascinating, Eva's favorite author. Any guesses?
Well, she came from poverty, achieved so much. Maybe biographies of powerful women, Cleopatra, someone like that.
You'd think, right? But no, according to her, it was Plutarch.
Plutarch, ancient Greek biographer. Not exactly light reading for a future political icon.
I know, right? But here's the thing. Perón loved Plutarch, even taught his works at the military academy. So was Eva being genuine, or was she trying to align herself with Perón intellectually?
Good point. Shows her savvy, even early on, understanding image, positioning herself strategically.
Exactly. She knew how to appeal to Perón and his supporters. Subtle, but calculated. But let's get back to politics. Perón's free, married to Eva, now he's running for president.
Against a whole coalition of traditional parties, all united against this upstart military leader. And remember, Spruill Braden, the U.S. ambassador, still trying to undermine Perón, wanted the opposition to win.
That guy really had it out for Perón, didn't he? But maybe, just maybe, Braden's meddling backfired.
It's possible. The more he tried to influence things, the stronger Perón's message became. Fighting against foreign powers, elites trying to control Argentina. That us against them mentality, it resonated with voters.
Classic political strategy. And Eva, she lived through poverty. She became a symbol of that struggle the people Perón was fighting for.
More than just a glamorous face, though. She campaigned tirelessly. Speeches, rallies, connecting with workers, using her radio skills to spread Perón's message.
Powerful voice, not afraid to use it. The podcast mentioned she even stood up to some of Perón's military buddies who were skeptical of her influence. Takes guts to do that, especially back then.
No doubt. But Eva wasn't easily intimidated, knew her worth, wanted to make a difference.
And she did. Perón wins the election, landslide victory. A new era for Argentina. And for Eva, the start of her transformation into Evita, the icon she would become.
And Evita. It was more than a nickname. It was a persona, carefully crafted. She understood symbolism. Her clothes, her speeches, even how she stood, it all projected strength, hope for the working class.
She was smart, knew how to use her image, her charisma, her story to connect with people emotionally.
And she went beyond image. She started the Eva Perón Foundation, huge social welfare network, helping the poor, the working class. Some said it was just to solidify Perón's power, but it did help a lot of people who needed it.
Complex legacy. But she wasn't passive, that's clear. Actively shaped her role, pushed boundaries, challenged what people expected of women in politics. And her influence went beyond Argentina. She became a global icon. People admired her style, her passion, her work for the underprivileged.
Her story went international still inspires today, from obscurity to global fame, taking on a male-dominated world with fierce determination. But sadly, it was cut short. 1952, just 33 years old, Eva Perón dies. Cervical cancer.
Heartbreaking end to an incredible life.
It is. Argentina, the world, they were in shock. Millions mourned Evita, their symbol of hope, of change. And Perón, devastated, determined to preserve her body, even hired specialists, wanted to build this grand mausoleum for her.
Couldn't let her go. Shows how deep their connection was. Eva, she wasn't just his wife, she was vital to him, personally and politically.
Exactly. His confidant, advisor, a symbol of his regime. And with her gone, Perón's grip on power, it started to slip. The military, they'd always been wary of Eva's influence. Now they saw their chance to regain control.
Back again, wrapping up our deep dive into Juan and Eva Perón, a couple who lived a life full of ambition, love, political drama. It's hard to believe Eva's journey ended so young, just 33.
It was a huge loss for Argentina, her death in 52. Millions adored her, Evita. And Perón, devastated, determined to preserve her body, even hired specialists, wanted to build this elaborate mausoleum for her.
Like he couldn't let go. Really shows how important she was to him, not just as his wife, but in every way.
Absolutely. She was his confidant, his advisor, a symbol of his whole regime. But with her gone, Perón's hold on power, it started to weaken. The military, they'd always been suspicious of Eva's influence. Now was their chance to take back control.
So the balance of power shifted without her. Was Perón able to stay in charge after she died?
For a while, yeah. But Argentina's economy was struggling, inflation was up, political opposition was growing. Perón tried to appease the military, made some concessions, but it wasn't enough.
So it was just a matter of time before things fell apart?
Pretty much. In 1955, there was a military coup. Perón was forced into exile. He fled to Spain, left Argentina in a state of turmoil. End of his second term.
Wow, his regime crumbled so quickly after Eva's death. It really shows how crucial she was to his success. What about Evita's legacy? Did they ever build that grand mausoleum?
That's a whole other story. After Perón fled, Eva's body, it was embalmed, remember? They secretly took it out of Argentina to Italy, hid it there for over 15 years.
They smuggled her body out of the country.
It's wild, right? Sounds like a spy movie. But it's true. Her remains were eventually returned to Argentina in 1974. Now she's buried in the Duarte family tomb in Buenos Aires.
What a journey, even in death. Almost reflects all the political upheaval Argentina went through. Even Eva couldn't escape the drama.
And her legacy, well, people are still debating it today. To her supporters, she's a saint, a champion of the poor, a symbol of hope. They remember her work for social justice, her charisma, that genuine connection with the working class.
But her critics, they see her differently.
Yeah, they see her as a symbol of a corrupt, authoritarian regime, point to the cult of personality that surrounded her, the censorship and repression during Perón's rule, and of course the economic problems Argentina faced.
So she's still a divisive figure. Love her or hate her, Eva Perón left a mark on Argentina, on history. People are still fascinated, inspired, debating her even now.
Her life asks big questions about ambition, charisma, the complexities of power, a timeless story, really.
It really is. And as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of Juan and Eva Perón, we'll leave you with this. How much of Eva's story was genuine compassion? And how much was political strategy? A question that still puzzles historians, biographers. Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back soon with another fascinating story from history.